Hello and welcome back to Best Era Football. We are going into week number 4, and we have a matchup of two of the remaining teams that have not yet won a game in Best Era Football. The 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars visit the 1985 New York Jets. Now, both of these teams, partly due to the reason of injuries, have not been able to win a game yet. The Jets lost their all-pro running back Freeman McNeil, and their offense has sputtered. They have not yet found the end zone in 3 weeks, but McNeil is back, so that's the good news. They're still without linebacker Kyle Clifton, who is also a pretty important player for the team, but they're down to really just one injury now as they do get their offense back in Freeman McNeil. There he had 16 carries and 41 yards before being injured in week 1. You see his comparison to Fred Taylor, who has been healthy. The Jaguars side of the ball that has been the issue is the defense, as they have been without both of their ends, Tony Brackens and Ronaldo Wynn, for the last, Brackens got hurt last week early in the game, and he's out for like another 7 weeks. Wynn was hurt in week 1. He's coming back after this game, but he will still miss this game. They also have a starting linebacker out as well. So 3 starters out on defense for the Jags. 1 starting linebacker out for the Jets. But the big news is the Jets have gotten their running back Freeman McNeil back, and they will see if they can at least find the end zone, if not actually get a win in this one. So we'll see what happens as Leahy will line up to kick it off to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not sure exactly why this keeps happening, but let me turn this down somewhat.
Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. This will be taken in after 1.
Okay, so there's Reggie Barlow on the return out to the 27-yard line. And out comes Mark Brunell. He's under 50%. 500 yards, 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. So along with their injuries on defense, Mark Brunell, inaccuracy so far, has certainly been a contributing factor to the 0-3 start as well. Brunell takes off. It looked like he took off running, but he's sacked. And so, not sure exactly what was happening there. It looked like he tucked it right away. Maybe a designed run call. But either way, that leads to a sack. And now they hand it off to Taylor, and on the corner blitz, the Jets are there to make Taylor lose some yards. So 2 quick plays, a loss of 10 yards, and the Jets seem to be fired up here today. Brunell from the shotgun now. He'll sling it downfield, and that's a misfire as it goes out of bounds. So the Jets force a 3 and out. There's the other game that will be broadcast in the morning games. 2-1 1990 Buffalo Bills at 2-1 1991 Atlanta Falcons. There's Barker with the punt. Townsend from the 32, spin move, gets across the 40. About a 10-yard return. And out comes Ken O'Brien. How is he done without the running game? Well, 618 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Completion percentage is still good at 64%. So he's played all right, but not putting the ball in the end zone has been the big problem for the Jets. There's a handoff to Johnny Hector, who's been getting the majority of the carries, of course, since McNeil went down about midway through the Week 1 game. Here is your offense. McElroy, Sweeney, Fields, Alexander, and Powell. The offensive line for the Jets. McNeil's back. Johnny Hector's the backup running back. Walker, Toon are your receivers, and Mickey Schuler, the tight end. We've also seen a few drops by Al Toon. A couple drops by Toon, McNeil being injured, and O'Brien not able to get it in the end zone. But there's a quick swing pass for Freeman McNeil, and he powers forward for a first down. So already you see the explosion in the legs of Freeman McNeil, which has been missing as he got that ball and took off towards the first down marker with intent and got the first down. O'Brien drops back. Now quick throw, Mickey Schuler. That's complete. That's another first down for the Jets. Schuler last week, 7 catches, 89 yards. He does have 16 catches on the year, so he has been solid, averaging over 5 yards per game. There's a handoff to McNeil. Spin move, another spin move, but taken down after a gain of a couple. Here's your Jaguars defense. Smeege and Upshaw take over for the injured Brackens and win. Schwartz and McManus in the middle. Bryce Paup and Kevin Hardy are your outside backers. Carnell Lake and Darius are the defenders. Up the middle, Beasley and Bryant are the corners. O'Brien steps back. He'll give it to Johnny Hector, and Hector explodes for a first down. So Hector taking some of the heat as McNeil's injury. A lot has been put on McNeil not being there as far as the Jets not finding the end zone yet. It has not been all Hector's fault. I mean, he has not been superb, but it has not been horrible. O'Brien will fake it to McNeil now. Good protection, fires downfield, and that's complete to Wesley Walker down to the 5. And O'Brien has come out 3 for 3. Looking sharp, the Jets having probably their best offensive drive of the season thus far. Can they finally put it into the end zone? O'Brien from the shotgun fires, and he has his man for the touchdown. And just like that, the Jets, with their first drive since McNeil comes back from injury, gets right down the field. It puts it into the end zone. You have to start somewhere. The Jet fans would like to believe now that McNeil's back, they're going to make a run at it here in Best Era Football. And on that drive, getting right down the field and putting it in the end zone, that gives the fans something to look forward to. Someone's going to get off the schneid here today. And if it's the Jets, they're 1-3, chasing the Dolphins team. They come into the week as one of the 5 undefeated teams left, only one of 2 undefeated teams left in the AFC. But still early enough that 1-3, certainly better than 0-4. The team that loses this game and drafts 0-4 will be in a very uncomfortable position for Best Era Football. Now the Jags are going to get Wynn back next week. Still about a month and a half from getting Brackens back, so that still does hurt. And another 4 weeks or so to get their linebacker back, which I believe Schultz is the linebacker that's hurt. I formation now for the Jags. They'll hand it off to James Stewart, and he fights his way for a couple yards. Take a look at the Jags line. Baselli, Coleman, Wade, Tilsky, and Leon Searcy are your linemen. James Stewart. Why are they not showing Freddie Taylor? Oh, they did show Freddie Taylor. Not sure what 31 was doing in there, but Fred Taylor and James Stewart are 2 very good running backs. Brunell needs to play better, and they need to weather the storm until they get their defenders back from injury. Hand off to Freddie Taylor. He puts his head down and grabs a couple. Here's your Jets defense. Joe Klecko in the middle, Bennett and Gastineau on the outside. Gastineau, a bit of a sack artist himself. Crable and Mail in the middle. Jackson and Farrow on the outside. Of course, they're missing big Kyle Clifton in the middle. Springs and Hamilton are your safeties. Jackson and Lynn are the corners. 3rd and 5. Brunell. Waiting, steps over, slings it over to Fred Taylor, who gets his feet down inbounds and picks up the first down. So again, the other morning game or early afternoon game that will be broadcast will be those Bills versus Falcons. That coming up within the next week, I'm sure. Then the late afternoon game will be the 89 49ers taking on the 98 Cardinals. And that will be sometime within the next 10 days for sure, hopefully within the next week, but we'll see what happens. There's a big completion to Jimmy Smith, and that's a touchdown. So the Jaguars answer. Nice throw by Brunell there. Brunell under fire a little bit, so is the Jets offense. Both respond here early. And Hollis will come out to try to tie this thing up. He does. And we're tied at 7. Again, both these teams off to 0-3 starts, desperately needing a win. That's what makes this matchup compelling, is that 0-4 is going to be very hard to come back from. So this is, in a sense, kind of like a pseudo play-in game. A play-out game. The loser will be in a lot of trouble. Take a look at Wesley Walker there. O'Brien comes to give him some words. Single back, it looks like Johnny Hector's back there. Again, he started the first drive as well. O'Brien will throw it to him, and Hector picks up the first down. So McNeil's the one that's back, but Johnny Hector's having an important role still. Maybe easing McNeil back in there, or just showing that by splitting the time, they can both be more effective. O'Brien misfires. That's his first incompletion, as he started off 5 for 5. Well, we've already seen the Jets get their first offensive touchdown, and we will see one of these two teams get their first best era football wins. So a couple firsts happening today. Best era football. There's a handoff to Freeman. McNeil gets a nice block across midfield, across the 40. He's got one man to beat. It's Carnell Lake. He's not going to catch him. Freeman McNeil shows the explosion that the Jets have been needing, and he takes that to the house. Oh, the Jets offense looks different with McNeil in there, that's for sure. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and the Jets in front of their home fans take the 13-7 lead. Leahy puts it home. It is 14-7 Jets. And how about this? A little bit of a stir up in best era football as McNeil comes back from injury, and instantly the Jets are a more competitive team. We do have to keep in mind they're playing another team that hasn't won yet, though. Their losses so far, well, they've lost to the 84 Dolphins, who are undefeated. The 1990 Bills, who also on paper are a better team than them. And their other loss, having a hard time remembering their other loss, but they've lost to obviously every team in best era football is a good team. So maybe too much importance put on Freeman McNeil, but I think it's the way the Jets have been losing. They've been losing and hadn't scored a touchdown. Oh, they lost to the Raiders in the other one. That's right, 13-5. So they've played some good teams, but the matter of it is that the without having an offense, they just didn't really have a chance against the Dolphins. But they were able to. Their defense really showed up against both the Bills and Raiders. So part of the talk has been, if they just have any offense at all, they could be a 2-1 team, as they lost both those games, I think, by only the 1 score. I want to say they lost to Buffalo by 7. Maybe it was 10, and they lost to the Raiders by 8. And after Freddie Taylor there, not much. He has 4 carries, 4 yards. And to get on the Jaguars side, it's not as easy to put your finger on it. They're missing some guys on defense, so the defense has given up points. But their offense has put points up. It's just Brunell completes it to Jimmy Smith there for another touchdown. Let's see what the flag is. That could be a second touchdown pass to Jimmy Smith already. I think they're going to call this back for holding, and that has kind of been what the Jaguars' problem is. Their defense has injuries that's making it weaker than it should be. Their offense is performing yardage-wise. They're putting points on the board and yards, but things will happen like that. Touchdown passes called back for penalties. Brunell goes inaccurate at the key moments. Not so much. I mean, they have had some turnovers as well, but they're not worst in the league in turnovers or anything. But look at that, back-to-back penalties. That one will be declined to bring up 4th down, but there was a touchdown. A beautiful catch by Jimmy Smith from Mark Brunell's pass, and this thing could be 14-14, but because of the penalties, the Jaguars will punt it away. JoJo Townsend, nowhere to go as it was nicely covered by the Jags. So Ken O'Brien comes out. They had no touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of the season. They have now had 2 drives and scored 2 touchdowns. And this one's a Jets offense. Better today. 14 points already today. That's more than they've scored in the last 2 weeks combined. And there's a final. The Saints have beaten the Dolphins 13-3. So now this fan base even more excited as they actually played that game a couple hours earlier than the normal slot. So that one has gone final. Dolphins lose for the first time in Best Era football. And so now the Jets are chasing a 3-1 team. If they can get a win, get to 1-3. It's not such a lost feeling after all, just 2 games back. Of course, the Jags would still have to deal with the fact that they're 0-4. And with that Dolphins loss, that means the 1988 Cincinnati Bengals are your last remaining AFC team that has not lost yet. There's still at least 3 in the NFC as the Dallas Cowboys of 93. The Minnesota Vikings of 98 and the Carolina Panthers of 1996 have not yet lost. So 3 touchdowns in the first half, 2 by the Jets.
They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. Catch taken back near about the 35, 36-yard line. 37 yards on the punt with no return.
And hoping, keeping one eye on the 2018 real-life college football playoffs. The call is under review right now. The Notre Dame needs something to go their way. It is 23-3 Clemson. And we just need this call to go Notre Dame's way because it was ruled an interception on the field. I'm not sure, looking at the replay, how it's going to go or if it can be overturned. But Notre Dame needs something as they are on the brink. That's why I went ahead and did this game, because it's on the brink of being out of control. Decided to go ahead and do the game anyway, and then if it gets out of control, I'm not as mad. If Notre Dame comes back and makes it a game, I can certainly make sure this is the end of the broadcasting today and focus on that college game. But this is a good one here in Best Era Football. The Jags are now 1st and goal from the 6, trying to tie this thing up. Brunell, down he goes. Bennett with the sack.
Any first and goal, the real estate to work with for the offense is really cut down, and the defense knows it. So they often bring heat and pressure, which they did on this play. Got him down.
And that is not an interception, unfortunately, so Clemson will keep the ball. More bad news for Irish fans. Here's Brunell now at second and goal. He'll step up and get hit, fumbles the football, but Big Ben Coleman lands on it. Lucky bounce there. Mark Gastineau came flying through, nailed Mark Brunell, dropped the ball. That's 3 sacks already for the 85 Jets. They are definitely fired up. But Brunell's just one good throw away from tying this thing. Let's see what happens. Now from the shotgun, he has protection this time. He puts it near the back of the end zone, and that could have been intercepted. But the Jets do not hang on. So Brunell gets away with a poor throw there, and Hollis will come out for the field goal.
Let's give this defense some credit now. They let the guys get downfield, but when push came to shove, they stood their ground. Now they'll likely force a field goal attempt.
So the drive stalls out, but they are
Okay, 14-10.
Yeah, just a yard or two shorter than an extra point, so no problems converting there.
the kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and he'll take over at the 25. Getting set to go again as we look at the back. Heading
Out come the Jets offense. Look at total yards, as even as it can be, 138 to 137. Battle of the winless teams right here. Jets lead 14-10. O'Brien slings it down the middle. He's got Kurt's own up to the 43-yard line. Ken O'Brien off to a 7-for-8 start. And this is no doubt the best the Jets have looked offensively. But they're playing a very desperate Jaguar team who also hasn't won yet. O'Brien slings it towards the sidelines and hits Mickey Schuler. That was a nice pattern and a nice throw. Ken O'Brien showing why he was drafted in 1983 along with some other great quarterbacks in this best era of football, such as Elway, Marino, Kelly, and others. Freeman McNeil slashes his way down to the 22-yard line. He has 75 yards on 5 carries. And how about that? When you're missing, that's what they've been missing the last 2.5 weeks. A guy that can put you up to, possibly 100 yards in 1 half. And after Johnny Hector there, 3 carries, 13 yards. He's also had a nice couple of receptions, so he's not a terrible back, but just much better when he's your change-up back rather than when he's your stud. O'Brien now goes underneath to Wesley Walker. O'Brien playing very confidently, 9 of 10 now. Could the Jets get their 3rd touchdown drive in one game after having none in the first 3? Well, they'll give it to McNeil. He'll cut it back and find a first down. Confident running by McNeil and Baxter both. They're near 90 yards on the ground, over 100 in the air. Jets have put 200 yards on the board and 2 touchdown drives already. O'Brien back to pass. He's in trouble, and down he goes as Seth Payne gets home for the sack. And the Jaguars are going to need some other people in that front 7 to step up with 3 starters in their front 7 out today. Secondary is intact, however. McNeil gets stopped right at the line. Still averaging better than 10 yards a carry. Here's a 3rd and 15. They have to get down to the 1-yard line. O'Brien drops back. The line gives him protection this time. And he will throw it and miss. He was looking for Baxter out of the backfield, led him a little too far, and Bryce Pop was there to pick it off. So that's the big play the Jaguar defense needed. And that turnover gives the Jags a sense of life here. They are down by 4, about to give up more points, but the turnover gives them a new outlook. Now, the 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars did not make it to the Super Bowl, but they were 14-2 that year. If only if they didn't have to play the 1999 Titans, who just happened to have their number that year, they certainly could have been in the Super Bowl to take on the 99 Rams, which, when you look at the numbers that this offense can put up, the 99 Jaguars, that would have been an explosion of offensive Super Bowl there. But as it turns out, the 99 Titans and 99 Rams was a wonderful Super Bowl. It came down to a 1-yard difference. So we're certainly happy things went the way they did. There you see the last undefeated team from the AFC has taken the lead on Cleveland 3-0. JoJo Townsville breaks one tackle and will be stopped at the 29. So Ken O'Brien now off to a great start, but then he threw the interception. See if that affects him at all this drive. He'll start with a play action pass. And he wants to go deep, nothing's open. Now he'll float one over the middle, and that was not smart at all. So he did not learn his lesson. The last 2 passes from Ken O'Brien have been picked off, and the Jaguars now have the ball in Jet territory, down by 4. Play action pass now from Mark Brunell. He'll turn, he'll run to the right, he'll tuck it and go ahead and get a couple yards. That's 3 scrambles already for Brunell. He has 18 yards. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Jags trying to get it into at least field goal range to chop this lead down before the half. Brunell throws it a little too high and incomplete. The big difference is no turnovers for the Jaguars, but they still trail because their offense has not been as explosive, and the penalties took a touchdown off the board already. Brunell, now he's going to tuck it again, and I don't think he's going to get there. Does not even get to the line, so that's a sack. That's Jackson's 5th sack of the season, and the Jets do a great job of keeping the Jags out of field goal range. 2 minutes to go. No reason to try a 60-yard field goal, luckily. I can't think of his name. Tom Coughlin is not an idiot, and he does call the punt. That is going to be too hard, though, into the end zone for the touchback. All right, Jets, they started off going straight down the field. 3 of their first 4 drives were either touchdowns or inside the red zone, but now the last 2 pass plays have been intercepted. So let's see if they go conservative. They do come out throwing, but it's a more conservative pass as O'Brien hits Schuler for a 3-yard gain. What a huge win by the Saints, 13-3. Saints are back into it in their division at 2-2. The Dolphins fail to remain undefeated, which we knew nobody's really going to finish Best Era Football undefeated, so that leaves only the 88 Bengals as the last team that can try it on the AFC side. We still have 3 guys going for it on the NFC side, but none of them have played yet today. There's one of them, the Dallas Cowboys, but they would have to survive the 99 Rams if they're going to stay undefeated. Ken O'Brien, quick drop to McNeil, and he puts his head down and may have gotten the first down. No, he's inches short. All right, 2nd and inches now. Hector in motion. O'Brien standing there alone now. Goes underneath. Oh, Clever can't hold on. Backup tight end drops the ball. Over in college football, Notre Dame driving on Clemson. They definitely have to end this drive with a touchdown. 3rd and inches here for the Jets. O'Brien will give it to Johnny Hector, and he does not get the first down. Does not gain the inches he needs, and that will cause the Jaguars to call timeout. And the Jets will be punting.
Here's the Jets punter now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. And this will be out of bounds.
And that punt goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Not too bad. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives.
Okay, so Mark Brunell's hit Jimmy Smith once for a touchdown, hit him on another nice pattern. But it was called back for holding, so chemistry is definitely there for Brunell and Smith today. Ooh, but there Brunell just winds up and maybe saw somebody cutting in at the last minute, didn't want to risk it. He throws it over everyone's head for an incomplete pass. Cleveland giving the Bengals a challenge, 6-0. Brunell from the shotgun. He'll take off and run across the 20, take a hit. And that'll force the Jaguars to call timeout as Brunell was stuck pretty good on that one. 3rd and 4. Brunell, quick throw to Taylor, makes the catch but goes out of bounds, nowhere near the first down marker. And you would have liked to see Freddie Taylor put his head down or try to put a move on the defender. Instead, he just ducks out of bounds and basically gives up the drive. Even getting tackled in bounds was at least taking a timeout away from the Jets. Now the Jets have all 3 timeouts remaining. JoJo Townsend will break it. No, he did not. Thought he was going to break that tackle and maybe turn it into a big gain, but a shoe lace tackle after at the end of that stopped Townsend from going any further. So the Jets a couple interceptions and then a short drive, starting to come back down to earth a little bit after their amazingly quick start. So the Jets hand it off to McNeil just to see what'll happen. He doesn't go anywhere, but they call a timeout anyways. It looks like they will give it to Ken O'Brien now. See if he can get him into field goal range. Although they do come out with 2 tight ends, perhaps they were calling timeout to simply run it again. That's exactly what they do. So they must have thought better of it in the timeout. Now they hand off to Hector, and this time they're not calling timeout, and neither will the Jags, so that should do it, I believe, although the Jets pretend that they might call one more play. But they were joking. It is indeed halftime. 99 Jaguars come into the New York to play the Jets, who are also winless, and right now they trail 10-14. Which one of these 2 teams will get their first win in Best Era Football, and which one will have the unfortunate distinction of being the winless team remaining? Who else is winless? Well, in the AFC, the 1998 Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos are also 0-3. And then there's these 2 teams. Over in the NFC, the 1991 Detroit Lions have not won a game yet. And the 1999 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are winless. I think that's it. There's Freeman. McNeil breaks another big one. And McNeil, coming back from injuries, has 2 different runs of 20 or more yards. He's over 100 yards now on the day. And we're still early in the 3rd quarter. So this Jets team, when they get that running game going with McNeil and Baxter as the change-up back instead of the main back, that opens things up for O'Brien as well. Had not been from the turnovers, they might have a bigger lead here, but they are definitely seeing how the Jets, if they can control the turnovers, can be a challenge to teams, and not a pushover as they have been the first couple of weeks. They hand off to McNeil again, and he spins and fights his way for another yard. Freeman McNeil averaging over 10 yards a carry on his return. 3rd and 8. O'Brien drops back. Now he rolls out, but he's not going to be able to outrun the Jacksonville defender Smeege, Joel Smeege, with his 5th sack of the season already, takes down O'Brien, and the Jets offense sputters out again. So they are definitely have more options, but they're still, after the first 2 drives led to touchdowns, they have found ways to stall. Our offense is back to looking like they did the first 3 weeks of the season. Brunell fakes it to Taylor. Now he'll roll around and he'll sling it downfield to his tight end Kyle Brady up to midfield. That's a 24-yard reception. Jets definitely winning the ground game, but the Jaguars have now taken the lead in the aerial arena. Brunell, quick drop. He'll sling it downfield, and he's got Keenan McCardell, and that's another big chunk, and the Jags are now down to the 24-yard line. Trailing by 4, they go over 200 yards of offense themselves. Brunell, fake, slings it towards the end zone, and he's got Jimmy Smith for his 2nd touchdown of the day. So the Jaguars drive right down the field pretty quickly on 3 big pass plays, and the 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars get their first lead of the game, 16-14. Hollis drills the point after home, and it is a 3-point lead for Jacksonville. And there's Townsend from his end zone. He'll bring it out across the 15, 20, 25, and down right there at the 26-yard line. There's one of those winless teams versus an undefeated team. If Detroit can win that game, that really shakes things up. But more than likely, Detroit will remain winless, as well as the loser of this game at 0-4. And the 98 Vikings will most likely join the, or not join, but be one of the teams that remains undefeated. O'Brien, down he goes. Bryce Pop already has an interception on the game. Now he has a sack. There has already been 7 sacks in this game, 4 by the Jets. That's now 3 from the Jaguars. They hand off to McNeil. Jaguars bottled him up on that one. 3rd and 18 now for the Jets. They start off 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, but they have not done anything since, and they now are trailing by 3. O'Brien slings it down the middle. He's got Altoon across midfield down to the 40-yard line. There's a big play. Altoon, they've been missing. He's dropped a couple of big plays so far this year, and he holds on to that one. 42 yards right down the middle. So with McNeil back and Altoon making catches, the Jets do show that they have a capability to make big plays. Now here's a handoff to McNeil, and he'll fight through 1 tackle. Get a gain of about 4 or 5. Get O'Brien now. Gets rid of it before they hit him. That's incomplete. Schuler was over there, but he was basically throwing that ball out of bounds.
They tried their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
Ryan now waiting for something. Now he sees what he wants and he hits his tight end, Mickey Schuler. 20-yard reception down to the 16-yard line, and the Jets are back in business. Now down by 3. They were down here before, and O'Brien threw the interception, so we don't want a repeat of that performance. There he gets it out to Schuler again, to the 9-yard line. Mickey Schuler continuing to be a big part of this offense, even with the return of Freeman McNeil.
And there's a completion to the tight end, and look at the size of these players nowadays.
There's a handoff to McNeil. He will spin his way close, but not quite enough for the first down. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Here we go now. The play clock's running down. He'll look to throw. And he takes this down to about the 2 before going out of bounds. This will be the 9th.
That's not Freeman McNeil that's hurt. So that's the good news. If you're a Jets fan. There is a handoff to McNeil, but he does fumble. So he's not hurt, but he fumbles at the goal line. And Kevin Hardy recovers it for the Jaguars. So the Jets have now turned it over twice inside the 10-yard line. And that is keeping points off the board. And they continue to trail 17-14. Brunell will give it to Freddie Taylor. He fights through one tackle and gets it out to the 10. That gives Brunell some room to work with back there. Jaguars +3 in the turnover department today. And after Freddie Taylor, he bowls his way up to the 14-yard line, and that's a first down.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right, he's pretty much been completely neutralized.
Play action pass now, Brunell will tuck it, and he'll run across the 20, 25, take a hit by 2 Jets. But he holds on to the ball, and that's enough for another first down. So the Jets turn it over for the second time inside the 10, and the Jaguars now have moved it out from their own goal line out to the 26-yard line. At least giving their punter some room, if nothing else. There's a handoff to Taylor. He finds a hole, and he explodes across the 40 up to the 46-yard line. And now you see that Jaguars offense, who has not sputtered. They've put up yards, but they're even more explosive than they've been so far. And this might be the drive that we see that explosion. Brunell waiting. He'll sling it, and that was almost a pick 6. Oh, Hamilton had his chance. He jumped the route. Ball in his hands, but he drops it. Harry Hamilton had the chance to set this stadium to a roaring, deafening noise, but he failed to do so. Brunell now. Underneath, that's dropped. And there's a big game. The Houston Oilers lead the Tennessee Titans. That's big to the Jaguars, at least as the Oilers are right now the leaders of the South. They have lost once. If the Jaguars can win, they can get within 2 games, which is the same thing the Jets are trying to do. The winner gets back to within 2 games of first. It kind of feels like maybe they saved their season. The loser is 0-4 and will really have to put an impressive run together to get back into anything in best era football. Now from the shotgun at 3rd and 15. He's rolling around, still looking downfield, still looking. Now he'll sling one, and that should have been, or could have been, picked off. So Brunell throws a couple dangerous passes on this drive, but Hamilton drops an easy one, and Springs drops a not as easy one, but still capable of being intercepted. And Jets kind of let Brunell get away with it, but they do get the ball back. Nice punt by Barker, backs the Jets up to the 9-yard line. Well, the Jets have been moving the ball better today. Put the ball in the end zone for the first and second times of the season. But the last few drives have stalled in the red zone as O'Brien and McNeil have turned the ball over. There's McNeil still exploding, though. 16 carries, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 very costly fumble. Overall, a successful return for Freeman McNeil. O'Brien from the shotgun. There's a flag on the play. He does hit Kurt's own, but I think this is going to be called back. It is holding. See, with just 2:26 to go, the Cleveland Browns are within a touchdown of the undefeated Bengals. Can they pull the upset off as the New Orleans Saints upset the other AFC's undefeated team?
Always making sure no one's holding.
Encroachment defense.
Jumpy on the right side of the line.
Sometimes when you're on the end, a little bit farther away from the ball, any type of movement will get you to jump, and that's exactly what happened there.
First and 15. O'Brien gets Kurt Zone across the middle for a gain of maybe 4. Nope, 5 yards. That gets to 2nd and 10. O'Brien misfire on that throw. So he had Walker for about another 6-yard gain, but he overthrew him. See, Baltimore is now starting to take it to Pittsburgh, up 24-9, and that's a 15-point lead. But against that defense, that's a lot. O'Brien loads up. He's going for it all here, and Al Toon makes a diving catch. Al Toon makes up for the couple drops he had last week with that great diving catch. And Ken O'Brien, sensing that the crowd needs to get into this thing, comes up with a big play. Al Toon, a brilliant catch. And the Jets are back on the move. They just cannot turn the ball over. They do get it off with 1 second to go. McNeil slams forward down to the 26-yard line. So that sets up an exciting fourth quarter. The New York Jets trail the Jacksonville Jaguars by 3, but they do have the ball at the 26-yard line. O'Brien now from the shotgun. He'll sling it out to Wesley Walker right near the 20. Is that a first down? It is indeed a first down. And the Jets are back in the red zone. They've scored their first 2 touchdowns of the season, but they've also turned the ball over twice in the red zone. So will we get a touchdown or a turnover or something new and actually just go for 3? And off McNeil slams forward down to the 16. McNeil has definitely brought balance to this offense. But it doesn't have to be all Ken O'Brien, which is important for this Jets team. They're not built to be, they're not the 84 Dolphins. They can't just do it by passing alone. O'Brien waits forever. Now he finds his man in the end zone. Very nice patience by O'Brien. The line gave him time, and he used every second of it. And then finds Walker, I believe. I'm not sure why it's saying first touchdown. Oh, yeah, he did not hit Walker on the first one. That is Walker's first touchdown. Everyone that scores a touchdown today for the Jets, it is their first touchdown of the season because, again, they hadn't scored any touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of the season. But now, here today, they have put 3 touchdowns on the board. 1 by McNeil, 2 passing touchdowns from Ken O'Brien. And the Jets regain the lead 21-17. Jaguars now. Brunell throws it over the middle. He's got his tight end Kyle Brady up to the 39. And Notre Dame just threw an interception. that
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defense is counting on.
is pretty much going to make me step. Even keeping one eye on the game is Notre Dame just once again outclassed when they get to the playoffs. Well, I mean, the rightful game, the two best teams are Clemson and Alabama. So, to get the best game, I guess that's what you want. I'm obviously a Notre Dame fan. Certainly rooting for the Irish. I'll root against Alabama just because I'm tired of them winning every time. In that championship game, I will root for Clemson against Alabama, but at the same time, between just, rooting for the underdog, part of me also wants to see the best game, and the best game probably is Clemson and Alabama. As if Notre Dame somehow pulled this off, I don't think. They had a prayer against Alabama, where I think if Clemson plays their best game, they can be the one team that can beat Alabama.
Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. So possession goes over here on the punt.
So the Jets get the ball back. 11:47 to go, up by 4. Now they haven't been in this kind of position before, so let's see if they can put a time-draining drive together. They have the right idea with the handoff to McNeil, but he goes nowhere. And the one thing about losing all your games is the Jaguars at least have been in the position before. They have not come back yet, so they don't have the history or the confidence knowing that they can come back, but at least they have run the plays, run the 2-minute drives and such to come with a passing offense to come back. The Jets have not won, so they haven't really done this sort of ball control offense at the end of the game yet. Play action pass now, Ken O'Brien. Nicely done, goes to the sure hands of Mickey Schuler, who's having a really nice season. Another 6 catches, he's averaging over 5 per week. Oh my God, Clemson has just run Notre Dame out of the building. 2 minutes to go in the third. It is 30-3 Clemson, and the experts were right. This game is not close. All right, well, let's just turn that off. Let's focus both eyes, all attention to best era football. See if the Jets can hold on and get their first win, or if the Jaguars are going to have a sudden comeback. Looks like the Oilers are going to remain the best team in the South. Oh, wait, the Titans have just pulled within 8, 33-25. There's a quick pass to Page, and that is a first down. So, Ken O'Brien, the 2 interceptions were not forgivable. I mean, those were bad throws, bad plays, but other than those, he's been accurate. He's been making clutch throws. Good enough to win, we'll say that. If O'Brien plays like this and cuts out the interceptions, and McNeil stays healthy. Oh, there's a nice spin move by McNeil just as I say his name. Another first down. So the Jets haven't been in this position before, but they are showing you what a ball control offense looks like, as they've already drained 5 minutes off the clock. We're down to 7 minutes to go. The Jets are across midfield now. Hand off to McNeil again. He's up to 156 yards in his return. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, Jets haven't put this thing away, but you just see with the adding a running offense to this team has made them considerably better quality team. See, 445 yards of offense for the Jets so far, which is more than they had in the last 2 weeks combined, I believe. O'Brien waiting. He'll find Johnny Hector out of the backfield, and the Jags will stop him short of the first down. Now it's decision time. This is about a 54-yard field goal. If you miss, you give the Jags good field position. So they're not going to punt or kick the field goal. They're going to go for it. Now that they have a running game, they might just line up and smash it, although it's Hector back there and not McNeil. So O'Brien's actually going to throw, and he finds JoJo Townsend for a first down. Beautiful clutch throw by Ken O'Brien. That's Townsend's first catch of the game. And remember, this drive started with about 12 minutes to go. The Jets have taken 7 minutes off the clock, and now they look poised to get points out of it as well. Just a perfect drive when you're leading late in the game. There's Ken O'Brien, stands in there, delivers it to Schuler before taking the shot. Schuler gets it into the end zone, and that was just pretty all the way around. The Jets find their 4th touchdown of the game. They have gone from no touchdowns to now averaging a full touchdown per game as they put all 4 touchdowns up here in game number 4. And that was a basically game-ending drive. Takes 7 minutes off the clock and puts 7 points on the board. That makes it really tough for the Jags to come back now. The Jags are staring 0-4 in the face. They can only hope the Titans come back and beat the Oilers, because otherwise they know they're going to be 3 full games behind the Oilers. Jets almost 500 yards of offense. Well, Mark Brunell, what can he do from the shotgun? He will tuck it and run it for about 3 yards. That's what you need to be doing. The last thing the Jags can afford is to have their starting quarterback hurt. Their offense is at least intact. Even if they start off 0-4, they can at least score points. You don't want the quarterback going out with an injury. But Brunell's going to run again, as he just can't be told to settle down. Someone just needs to tell him, that's it, you're not running anymore. 3rd and 4. The Jets, I believe, have called a spy in the last couple of plays, stopping Brunell from getting big yardage. Brunell will use his arm this time and get it out to Jones. But the Jets are letting him get the underneath stuff. We're now under 3 minutes to go. Jets up by 11. Jaguars need some help here to get a win. You see that? The Jaguars, that was the 41st play run on offense. The Jets, I believe, were at 60 or 61. So the Jets just, by getting McNeil back, have turned to the ball control offense that they need to be. Run 20 more plays than the Jaguars and just kind of suffocated them out of the building here. The turnovers kept it interesting, but if you take away the O'Brien interceptions and the McNeil fumble, then I dare say the Jets could have blown this team out, which is good news for the fans here. There's an interception. Lynn picks it off, and he'll return it for a touchdown. And now the score is starting to indicate that this is a blowout, as the Jets are just running it up. No touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. That's now 5 touchdowns and 4 by the offense here in week number 4. 35-17, just 2.5 minutes ago. The Jets are going to get the win. It's great news for the fans here. Not so great news for the rest of the AFC East, especially the Dolphins, who suffer a loss today at the hand of the Saints. They're still in first at 3-1, but now they see immediately the Jets take advantage and gain a gain on them. So now they're just up to a 2-game lead on them. The Bills will be broadcast later. We'll see if the Bills can tie them. Brunell, he will go ahead and run for it. He'll pick up the first down, but take another hit. He actually gets ripped to the ground by a face mask. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty. But again, at this point, you're worried for injury for Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell came in as the leading rusher on the Jaguars, I believe. He definitely is after this game. He's really been the only person running effectively. Brunell will tuck it and run again. Takes a shot, only a 3-yard gain. Brunell has been pressured But he's actually put more pressure on himself than the Jets actually have, as he's decided to run early in many cases when he has a chance to stay back there and make a play with his arm. Here, now see here, he's got time. And there he gets rid of it, incomplete. Renell hits McCardle inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. It's a 2-minute warning. The Jaguars trying to put some more points on the board, but let's see if they get a touchdown and then use their 3 timeouts on defense. Get another touchdown, it's still not enough. So they're going to need to be perfect on defense and recover an onside kick. But they do the first part, which is getting the touchdown to Reggie Barlow. Now Hollis will come out to try to make it an 11-point game. He does. And let's see here. It looks like it is going to be an onside kick attempt. And recovered nicely by Smith of the Jets. And here comes the Jags. Need to use all 3 timeouts on defense to try to get the ball back. O'Brien almost had a jumper there, but it's not called offsides as he got back in time. And it's Johnny Hector, and he slams away forward inside the 40-yard line. Timeout number 2 for the Jaguars. So you're up 11. The conservative approach, of course, is to just hand the ball off, get rid of the Jags' last timeout, and then play prevent defense. Even if you give up the field goal, you still force the Jags to get a onside kick. Ooh, Hector almost turned that into a game over as he got all the way within a yard of getting the first down. The Jets have hit exactly 500 yards of total offense. And now, because of the nice run by Baxter, Leahy will go ahead and attempt a field goal of about 50 yards. High snap, it's a fake. And Leahy's going to throw an interception. And if this ends up being returned, it's going to be returned for a touchdown. I don't know if that was a called fake or because the snap was high, but disaster has struck the New York Jets as they have this game basically wrapped up. All you have to do is punt it down there. Instead, I don't know if it was out of necessity because of the high snap or if they called this play, but they turn it into some sort of fake field goal, and then Leahy tries to do too much, trying to complete a pass with 2 defenders on his receiver. It's picked and returned for a touchdown, and the Jaguars are within 5 points now. And going for 2, Brunell steps back. He'll spin out. He'll still look. Hit as he thrown and incomplete. So the Jets defense recovers a little bit there, but the Jags now, it all comes down to this onside kick. If they recover it, this could be an amazing comeback. Now that is recovered by the Jets, and he does get down. So the Jets are going to survive, but that was almost a disastrous ending. And that's what happens when you have 2 winless teams. Things like that happen. I don't know why the Jets are not just kneeling. It's a handoff to McNeil. He covers up, though, and doesn't fumble. So that's good. 502 yards for the Jets is nice, but the mistakes, 4 turnovers, actually. Taking points off the board and directly giving points to the Jags. Now they'll finally get in victory formation. Ken O'Brien kneels that. They'll have to kneel one more time, and you see the Jets with more than 10 minutes time of possession. That's how they want to win games. A successful kneel here, and the Jets will have their first win. And they'll go ahead and they were trying to get the clock to expire without even having to kneel it, so they'll go ahead and take the delay of game penalty. Now there's only 1 second on the board. even if somehow you disastrously mishandle the snap. Anything short of the Jaguars recovering a fumbled snap for a touchdown. And the Jets win this thing. There's the snap and the kneel, and the Jets win. Jets get on the board with their first win, 1-3, the 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars, who, of course, in 99 finished 14-2, are off to an 0-4 start because, unlike these teams that were removed from their years, they're not playing a bunch of teams from 99. They're playing teams from the best era of football, all playoff teams. You can lose at any given moment. Jaguars have done nothing but lose. Jets finally show some offense and get a win, 35-30. Thanks for watching, everyone. The Jets are saving their season. The Jags are in a lot of trouble. We'll see. I think the Jags are taking on the Steelers next week. The Steelers, last time we looked, were losing big to the Ravens, so I think the Steelers are on their way to 1-3. So that's another game that could be considered a play-out game. If the Jaguars win the Steelers, they might both be out. If the Jaguars lose to the Steelers, they are definitely, no doubt, out of this thing. 4 takeaways was the only thing the Jags did right. Otherwise, it was all Jets. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.